Welcome back, Sewist. Again, my name is Camelia Holt, and in today's video, we will be constructing our bucket hat as well as bucket bag. So you will see me still continue to cut out the pieces, construct the pieces, and sew them up. So let's begin. I will see you in the next 30 seconds. All right.
It unmuted me. Sorry, I apologize. While I played my intro. We're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so I am partially prepared. Typically, I will like to already have my pieces cut out and things of that nature. But once again, I purchased a pattern, and the pattern pieces was all over the place. None of the pieces were coherent, and there were absolutely no instructions whatsoever. So I had to fish around and decide, do I want to cancel this live, or do I want to still go ahead and go live? Oh, I'm sorry, sorry, y'all. And this was another thing. I was having some technical difficulties. I don't really know what happened to my stand all of a sudden, y'all. It does not want to sit up. Anyway, so it like I said, so I had to, come up with another pattern. So it's either try to invest in another pattern or just cancel altogether, because as you may remember, we were supposed to do another bag, a different type of bag today, and that hardware still has not come. Actually, it was delivered late. And normally the mail's there in the morning and we can go and pick it up from the post office, but it didn't come until late. So we realized that it was after 3, might have been after 4. So by then it was just too late. So I said, I'll get it tomorrow. And we'll probably do that either Monday or Tuesday. So we're just going to move along. So I thought it's something that's fun to do. So the last time I made a bucket hat, about 60% of it was already pre-done prior to. But again, I decided to do a bucket hat and a bucket bag that can be purchased either together or separate. I mean, it's not going to be a set in itself, but you can either purchase it together or separately. But I just thought maybe that would be a little fun thing to do online. So, and I already started with cutting out these pattern pieces. And my motto, if the pattern pieces are really good, if it sews up well, I will link it. I have not linked any yet because I haven't found any pattern pieces that I felt like sewed up well. So we're going to try this one out. So like I said, am pretty much halfway done. I also have the video here because this bag, after you purchase, tells you that there's also no instructions, but only a video. So here we are. We're going to keep it positive. All right. So I have not ironed on any of my interface yet because I didn't find this pattern until approximately 5 something. And so I just been taking the time to cut it out. And then one of the other things that kind of frustrated me because in her pattern, um, she tells you she doesn't you don't know that one piece is supposed to be cut 4 times in a continuous line. And so yeah, that was a little disappointing because I didn't find it out until after I cut the one piece. And I'll show you that piece when I get to it. But so, I'm not sure what's happening with these patterns. And I'm not even sure why, Etsy and YouTube is really allowing these vendors, I'm gonna say vendors or creators to sell or offer these patterns when these patterns are really no good. And I know I can't be the only person noticing how these patterns are not or poorly made. I should say the patterns are poorly made. Um, I've been sewing forever. I know how to use patterns. You can toss me any McCall's Vogue Simplicity pattern right now. I'm going to be able to cut that pattern out. I'm going to be able to piece it together and I'm going to be able to lay it on my fabric and cut it out and sew it up. Why? Because those pieces are written very well. Those pieces are written so that a beginner can understand. When you have a pattern that you have to try to figure it out because it's like a puzzle piece. It's like having a 1,000-piece puzzle, and you got to sit there and try to figure out what pieces go together. That's a poorly written pattern. When you don't have the right I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong camera. When you don't have the right, you know, wording written on the pattern pieces, that's a problem. And so a lot of these patterns from these people on YouTube, what they're doing is they're selling these patterns, but I'm not even sure if they're their actual patterns or if they've taken somebody else's pattern and they're redoing them as their own. And that's why it's all over the place. I'm not sure. However, but this is now my third pattern, technically fourth, but I'm going to let that one go. But this is my, third pattern that I've purchased that is poorly written. I'm not going to say this one's poorly written, but it's not written well. Um, like I said, the one where it says cut 4 times, that should have been an instruction. So, you should have an instruction sheet that tells us that that needs to be cut 4 times, because it actually wasn't until I literally looked at it at the last minute after cutting one piece that I was like, oh my gosh, because what I do is I don't read everything that's on the pattern right off the top. And maybe I should start doing that, but I don't. I look for what's going to be the outer part of these bags. So I look at that part first and I see how many pieces of that the cart cut out. Then I go to any interfacing. Then I go to my lining. Um, so like I said, it wasn't clear on her pattern piece that she wanted you to take that one piece, which to me, if you wanted me to cut it 4 times in a continuous cut, you could have made that piece a little bit longer, or you should have just put it on different sheets. So like, for example, when you do a pattern, I work while I'm doing this. When you're making these patterns, or when you're cutting out creating these patterns, if you're getting a PDF pattern such as this one, um, you sometimes have to have multiple pieces on, one piece on multiple pages. Well, what should have been the logical thing for this particular pattern for that piece, it should have had, it should have just been on multiple pages. It should have been continuing onto multiple pages so that the person would know that that was one continuous piece. And so, therefore, that was a boo-boo on my end. Now, am I going to be able to fix it? I am. However, if someone is a beginner, they would have chucked that one piece and they would have just started all over again, most likely. I just don't know how these patterns are able to be sold when there's no instructions and they're not written well. The instructions that we do have are not written well. So I'm just a little confused. So that unfortunately took me, a long time, even trying to figure out some of these pattern pieces. So I'm just not sure. So I'm not even nowhere near um even cutting out the bucket hat itself. So this may be a two-part video. So we will see. So what I'm doing now is I'm now on the interfacing part. There are several pieces I do have already done for the interfacing. However, there's still more interfacing that I have to cut out. So you're just going to basically watch me work at this point, because I just didn't want to cancel the live altogether. I wanted to still, get my stuff out there. Hopefully you don't mind. I know you've worked with me before. So this is just going to be basically a work with me, and I'll talk about it and we'll just chit and chat. That's all. Initially, my video was going to say work and chat, but I chose not to do that because in my research, I'm learning that's not a good title, which I don't understand why, because I know there are people out here that like to, log on while people are working and chatting. All right. Hold on. I did not put my iPad on Do Not Disturb. Give me one moment. I did do my phone. I did remember to do my phone. I did not remember. Second. All right. Let's just do that for now. And okay, sorry, I apologize. What I've been doing lately, I've just been listening to tunes. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So right now I'm just listening to some Hertz to keep it try to keep it YouTube friendly. I did notice after my last live that I had copyright written on all of my videos, and I'm like, well, God, what did I do? Like, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not using nobody's, stuff. Like, what did I do? I was so freaked out. And so when I went into YouTube Studio and I read it, it said it was actually, it said no copyright strike. So it didn't give me a strike. Basically, I guess it was like a warning. And it said it was from the music from my intro and outro, actually. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I've changed the intro and outro because that gave me a copyright. What was so interesting, so it's just the videos that have this orange background. It was not no other videos. And then what was interesting after that, I went back later on that evening and YouTube decided to go back and give me a copyright on all of my videos, even the ones that don't have an intro. Now, the ones that have intros from Copy You Collections, they actually didn't give me a copyright on that one. None of those, I mean. It was some of the other ones, and I'm like, what the heck? But then I realized they were my seasonal videos that I did during the Christmas season. So I'm assuming that it was from playing Christmas music, which when I clicked on it, it didn't say particularly specifically, but it just doesn't make sense what it would be, because I didn't, say anything. It was all original content. I know I didn't say anything that was against community guidelines or anything like that, but it said copyright. So I have to assume it must have been a Christmas music, but Christmas music is public music. And so I'm a little shocked if that's what it is. But like I said, when I clicked on it to find out what the actual copyright was, it didn't give me the actual reason. So it didn't let me know specifically what it was, what the copyright was for, like this one did. So I don't know. I'm a little shocked. So I said maybe if I listen to some Hertz, that would help. This is Hertz, these are tunes. So hopefully this won't give me a copyright. Like, because I have to have music. I don't know why they think everybody can, work in silence. I mean, even in banks and certain businesses, they let you listen to headphones now to listen to your music because they understand um, that music helps the work they go by better. So I don't know. I'm just a little shocked that they will go that far. Um, so I don't know. It is. I mean, it's not my. I don't own the platform, so I understand. It's not mine. I'm using somebody else's. So right now, like I said, I'm still just cutting out to interfacing. I'm not sure how long I'll be live today, because I didn't go live on TikTok today like I was going to go. But then I was like, although I kept saying let's keep it PG, and although my niece, kept apologizing, that wasn't a problem. I don't have a problem with that. Um, it's just a different feel. It's a different vibe. It's a different audience. And I just didn't, I felt like I didn't want to mix the two. I decided I did not want to mix the two. I want to keep um, that audience over there on that side, that platform. That audience that ended up coming in is an audience from the American Indian or copper color Indian space. And although it could have turned out real ugly. A lot of people really appreciated me coming over there and bringing my skill set over there. I even got messages later where people were saying how they was happy that I went live. I think it's two. Yeah, I'm not sure why too, but I did get a lot of people telling me that they was happy that I actually, had that type of space where we were basically um I hate to use the word crafting, but I'll use it for conversation's sake instead of the arguing. That's why I kept telling them to keep it PG. I was afraid that there would be certain groups of community will come in and try to argue, because that's what they do. They like to try to argue and get our pages taken down. And I was afraid of that. But at this moment, this is my business. So I was like, I need to keep those separate. I have gone on TikTok. I enjoy TikTok at times. Lately, I have not been enjoying it. That's why I haven't really been over there. That's why they were surprised that I was live because I haven't been live in over a year. I mean, I've been on other people's live, but I personally have not been live for over a year, um, because it just became too much drama. And but I have been on TikTok and I've been taking breaks. I've been taking 3 week breaks. Even took a month off of there. Um, because it's just become too much. It's been 8 years of the same argument. So I needed a mental break. So yes, I will now keep those two spaces separate because unfortunately right now I have more of the American or the copper color Indians follow me on TikTok on all three of my pages than crafters. So it made it a little hard to for them not to come in. They're going to see me live. They're going to come in because they were shocked. So we're going to go live over here. And then when I go live over there, we'll talk about American Indian business. Now I do have another page on here that I do have to build. I haven't built it yet. It's called, I actually changed the name, y'all. No, what I changed it. I know it's Copper Mississippian. I think I took the hue out. Let's see. Yeah, I just changed it to the Copper Mississippian. So I do have that page as well. I only have 2 lives over there now because I just have not been building up this live in the last that page in the last 2 years because of this, things that were going on with my husband for now. But I'm going to start building that up in about a month, going back to teaching because I'm always having people ask me why I'm not teaching anymore about American history, the true American history, not what we learned in school, because that's not true. But anyway, that's enough of that. So, but that's got louder, but that's hurts. So I'm listening to some frequency sounds, which I love listening to. I actually go to sleep listening to frequency sounds every night. And I actually do use a headset. Um, Typically, I wouldn't outline this as y'all probably seen me do before. You see me just cut it, but I didn't protect this pattern. I just didn't have the time. So I just cut it out, which took a long time because there's so many pieces. And I just was like, I'll outline it the best I can so we can go ahead and get it sewn up. So what I'll probably do is do the bucket bag first. I may not even work on a bucket hat yet. I may just go straight to the just stick with the bucket bag, and I may do the bucket hat as part 2. Even though that's a quicker sew, I purposely didn't do that because it is a quicker sew. How are y'all doing today? Are y'all ready for the weekend? It's Friday Eve. Not only is it Friday Eve, I am also into spirituality. We're also coming up on a full moon. I believe it's the flower moon. I've been slacking on that too, y'all. So please forgive me on that as well. I believe it's the flower moon that we're coming up on. And the blue moon. It's interesting because I had a conversation with chat, and sometimes I'll be just trying chat because I like to see what chat is programmed with. One thing I noticed that last year chat was really on point. Chat was really giving out truths, and I think the problem is because so many of us was using it and it was giving us truths that I really truly believe they said, nah, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. It's too much, because I've noticed chat has been regressing. And so, and I'm also cut off. And another reason I'm having an issue is because also y'all, I wanted you to see the table, what I was doing. First, just making sure you see my face. I mean, I wanted you to see my face when I was talking in the beginning, but more so I wanted you to see the table. But anyway, feels like I'm washed out a little bit too. Oh shoot. Chat I've noticed has been regressing, and then I remember hearing a couple people on TikTok that they noticed that their chat was regressing. They used the word going back on what they initially would say about the truth about who are the true American Indians or the true Americans, period. And so I asked chat though 2 questions yesterday. It was funny because it's almost like it was an argument with chat. Well, I didn't think it was an argument, but chat was like, I'm not going to argue with you. And I was like, well, I'm not arguing with AI. Like, I didn't know that there was a such thing of really arguing with AI. It's just that you have to accept that in this moment, your information is not correct. And I'll just tell you a little bit about that. I just asked chat a particular young lady who is a up and coming celebrity, welcome in, what was her birthday, and they told me it was no such person. And I was like, yes, there is a such person. And it was like, there's no mainstream media confirming this person exists. And I was like, yes, this person does exist. Like, what are you talking about? And it really was swearing me up and down that there was no mainstream sources confirming that this person exists and what this person did for a living. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, and that's when it's like, I'm not going to argue with it. I was like, I'm not arguing with you. You're AI. And then it had the nerve to tell me, well, prove it. And I was like, I'm not proving myself to no AI. That was funny, y'all. Like, I'm not proving myself to no AI. Like, that's insane. Like, I couldn't believe it wanted me to prove to them that I was correct and it was wrong. And it's really, interesting because I know that AI is wrong. Um, the interesting thing is, I mean, the person even has their own, website. It's not a clone or anything like that. Gosh, yeah, I got to be the heat. It has to be the heat. I cannot believe this pen. I literally just took this pen out. I was already halfway through all of that before I took this pen out, and now this pen is empty. I got to get some more replacements. This is insane. This is truly insane. Yeah, it's empty. It's completely empty. Wow. The blue was kind of bleeding through the table. That's why I switched from the blue to the red. But anyway, this person most definitely exists. There are websites, not just their website, their family website, but there are websites proving her existence. The only thing is that she talks little about her personal stuff, her birthday, and things of that nature. So I just was curious as to how old she is. And chat was swearing me up and down that that person didn't even exist. It then told me that the person exists, but then it still kept trying to spam me up and down the occupation that that person was in, they're not in. And I was like, wow, like this is insane. I was like, this is scary because, um, my granddaughter's generation is going to be probably having to use y'all in school. And to see how flawed you are right now with me makes me really scared about how flawed you are and what kind of information or narrative that you're going to be pushing out by the time she, is old enough to be in school. If she's not living with me for me to homeschool, that's a little scary to me. It really concerns me about, how accurate you're going to be. Like, are you going to be pushing false narratives? Um, like, I don't. I'm a little nervous. Like, it really makes me nervous what you will be telling, her generation. Because if you're trying to argue with me about information that I know is 100% factual, then what are you going to be pushing on them? And I was like, and this is why AI does not need to be taken over, because AI can only tell us what they're programmed to tell us. AI is not a human. AI doesn't have the capability to, be able to just pull this information from the sky. It's pulling from the sources in which was programmed in them. But I just was so shocked at how, chat was like, I'm not going to argue with you. And I'm like, whoa, like that kind of blew my mind because I didn't think we were arguing. I just think you're wrong. This person exists. This is what this person does. Um, she's been on many of platforms. She's been on. She's just talked about it. She's there. So it's like if you now know she exists and you can tell me where she was from, which I didn't even ask where she was from, then that means you know she exists. So it's like, how can you not know what she does for a living if you know what country she came from because she's not American? So if you knew what country she came from, then you should be programmed to know what she does for a living. I think that's the last piece. Hold on, let me double check and make sure now. Because like I was telling you, this is what took up the longest. I think I did do it. Yeah, I got all the interfacing done. And oh, I did do this. Okay, so here it is. So that's this piece right here. But I had to recut now. I have to figure out a way to recut the actual fabric. I was able to do the interfacing in one piece. So I will turn on my iron, excuse me, which is off to the side. And I will iron that off to the side. Okay. Yeah, so that was a little scary. And then like I said, AI's just been regressing a lot lately. So, I normally you keep your pieces. You never want to throw away your interface, and you never know when you would need these smaller pieces, but that little tiny piece you don't need. But always make sure you keep it. One thing I'm also learning for any sewists who are in the islands like myself, um, you have to be careful with those heat erase pins. I'm noticing that the heat out here dries it out. Oh, I don't want to put that up yet. The heat dries out the pins. The heat also dries out your interface, or it heats up your interfacing. So you have to keep that in a cool place. So you have to be careful with that as well. I noticed that as well. So although I've cut the entire bag out in this denim, I will not be using all the pieces that I cut. Some of these pieces may very well, as you've seen in the thumbnail, some of these pieces may be, and I may put some of these pieces in the um, bandana. I haven't decided yet. I'm actually thinking about keeping this bag for myself. I also brought out my embroidery machine. I don't know if you can see it right here. Um, I didn't do a tag. I'm gonna be honest. I actually forgot about actually embroidering a tag, and I'm like, oh, I really forgot to embroider a bag tag. So I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and pull that out now. I'm a little afraid it's going to be messing up again. As you know, I've been having some issues with it. Um, I don't know. I'm a little nervous, but I have like tags for my zippers and tags for my tags for my overlays and then put on zippers and my key fob. However, I don't have any tags for my actual bag. I only had it for that bag. That's orange, so of course I'm not going to put an orange tag on it. Although that's my business colors, I'm not going to do that. I'm a little junky over here off to the side. I got a bucket, just got a bunch of stuff on it because I'm minimal on my space. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and iron off. So I ironed on my mat, which I don't typically do. I don't like to do because it can still buckle up this mat, even though this is a thick mat, it can buckle it up. Part of this, so remember, underneath this table, I have a piece of wood because my Juki sat on it for 3.5 months. Remember, indented. So this small portion over here, about this, actually the same exact width of my mat, the width of my mat, but it's longer in length. Um, I have over here, and that is just wood. I rather iron on that to make sure that I am not buckling up my my buckling up my mat. All right, so let's go ahead and turn this iron on and get to ironing. I need to get I need to get another Teflon sheet. There is a reason why I have not also purchased some of the things that I need. I have chosen to wait, and I'll share that with you another time. But there is a specific reason. But we're going to go ahead and iron this up. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Also, um, I have a video I need to upload. I have a video I learned about a company from a young lady on YouTube. I believe her name is Tanisha. I don't know what her last name is, but I believe it's Tanisha. And I learned about it's not Z printing, but it's not Z embroidery either, but they embroider. They or maybe Z digitalizing, something like that. They digitalize your images for you if you don't have the software to digitalize. Now, I thought about purchasing Embrilliance, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't embroider that much. So, do I really want to purchase this software, or do I just want to stick with, you know, this company? Now, I did purchase. I did have them digitalize one label at first, and I absolutely loved it. Loved it. It came out amazing. One thing I love about them, they also will if you don't like the image, if it didn't come out right, they will redo the image for you. And I love that about them. Um also um like they will work with you. Like when they send you the image, they will literally work with you. They'll send you a message, they'll ask you about how it works, and I mean how you like it, did it work for your needs and things of that nature. And I really come to really like this company. All right, so this is the one I'm gonna hold off on. And so I did do a video about them. Actually, I did a short, I believe it was. So I need to get that video out because I really did do that video a long time ago. What I'm going to do, so remember, there's two pieces where they welcome in. There's two pieces where they tell you in a pattern that cut it in a continuous piece that you don't really know about until after you cut it. And so um, I did the one, I hadn't done the other one. So we're going to go ahead and get this interfacing on this one piece. So we're going to start doing that. Now the iron should be hot enough. All right. But yes, I like to put something over it. I gotta get me a Teflon sheet. I do have them in my pod, something where it won't stick. I have them in my pod, and I've just been forgetting to even purchase, welcome in more Teflon sheets. I've just been forgetting. Like, I haven't thought about it. All right, so let's go ahead. Why it seems like it's off. That's right, we'll trim it up. It just trimmed up. So yeah, so I just have to get that video uploaded. And so you can see, I believe it is on. I believe it's a short that I made. I don't think I did a whole video, but I do have it. I need to upload it um, so that, oh Lord, I feel the bead, so I'm not sure why it's not sticking. My interface, and like I said, I think it's because of the heat. I think it's literally because of the heat out here. I think the humidity is really messing with my interface. Maybe I'm not going to use this because when I first got the interfacing, it wasn't doing this. Now it's constantly not wanting to stick. But yes, that Z video, I would literally have to get it. I need to upload that video because it's a really good company. They also even have plans. So it's, say for example, you don't want to get a membership with Embrilliance, even if you don't want to do a basic membership. They actually have plans where you can get a certain amount of images digitalized every month. Um, and I don't remember what the pricing is. And I'll do a video about it. I'll just do a video about it. Because I already have a partial video and I'll just add to it. But they do have plans where you can do the monthly plans. And they did reach out to me about that. They even reached out to me about because I've gotten 5 done now. But I don't want to do no collabs right now. I don't want to do anything that I just don't have the time for all of that right now. And I knew I wasn't going to have the time, so I've chosen not to. But I do want people to know about this company. And I said, the young lady, Tanisha, and she could be older than me. I say young lady out of just respect of a person. Um, but she is an embroiderer. She has a fairly large channel, I guess you can say, a medium channel. I don't know. I don't want to dumb down her channel. I can't remember her name right now. I think it's Forster, maybe Forster. I really forgot her name. I'll tag her in the video when I do it. But yeah, she's the one that turned me on to him. I just happened. Interesting thing, I was on YouTube trying to figure out ways to digitalize without using Brilliance. And that was actually my search. That's exactly what I put in the search. And I guess that's because what I put in a search, she popped up. So that's how I found out about her. And so I tried them out. Like I said, I've gotten multiple things digitalized by them. The key fob that I made for my daughter's skate group, I created that image and they digitalized that image for me. And they actually had to do that one 3 times. I've never had no issues with no image until that one. And I understood it is because of that skate. But they actually redid it 3 times until we got it right. Now I like that they ask you what type of material you're using so that they can better digitalize it. So like I said, I really like this company. And there may be others out there. I'm not aware of them. That's the only one I know. I decided to turn off the Hertz because I don't want any problems. This, yeah, this one's good. And so, but yes, I really enjoy. So for this one, this is one of the ones. No, is this one of the ones? No, this is not it. Let me show you. I think this is one of the ones. Let me move you over to the side. A second. Yeah. So this is one of the ones that was supposed to be cut 4 times in one continuous piece. So what I did, and I'm going to end up sewing it, stitching it together. So what I did was, I'm going to sew this. Actually, I'm going to pull out the sewing machine. I ended up cutting this one once I learned, and I ended up doing this one. However, it was already too late when I found out. So I did this, and then I did this, and I'm going to now just sew these together. Hold on, y'all. Is my camera getting hot? It's flashing. Whoa. Let me unplug it. Normally I plug up my phone while I'm live. And now that just made it worse. Oh, wow. My phone is falling. Oh, goodness. What's happening? Yeah, I noticed that the battery was flashing. I've never seen that before. So, and my phone's never been hot. So I'm assuming that my battery was getting hot. I just knocked it. Oh no, it's broken. I think my stand just broke. Did my stand just break? Okay. So good. That's not going to come down enough. However, let's do this. Yeah, it's the first time I've seen it. I never had that. So let me put you off to the side. for a sec. And let me bring you down just a tad bit then. How about if I do that? Will that be better? Yeah, that'll allow you to see the table better. Okay, good. I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's the first time I seen that flash. I did notice that the other day, one day, my phone had cut off while I was in the middle of filming, and I didn't notice it. So I'm wondering if that's when that started. Now this phone is a year old, about a year, almost a year and a half now. But I'm just really shocked right now, y'all. That never happened. That literally never happened. How are these crooked? Hmm. They're almost my interface is on like a curve. What did I do? Didn't cut these out properly. It's okay. We're gonna make it work. But yeah, so like I said, they reached out to me, and I'm not in a space to be collaborating with anybody right now. So maybe in a couple of months, if they still want to, I will, because I do really like them. And like I said, I don't embroider enough to right now to um to do that collab. Now I was thinking about getting a larger machine and embroider more, but right now I'm really focusing on my handbag. I do not want anything that's going to take away from my handbag business. I want to focus and build on this. I don't want anything that's going to take away from that, because I do know that when you do these embroidery contracts, they want you not promoting anything else. They want you to focus on just their machines. You got so many videos you have so many videos you have to put out, and I don't want anybody controlling, how many times I have to go live a week. Um, I've watched several young ladies on this app get burnt out, and I just don't want that for myself. I do have a lot of machines that's in my pod right now, and there's a lot of young ladies on here that just has, a abundance of machines, a lot of which they're not even using at this moment, and they're just sitting there. One young lady on here even had to have a sale because she was so burnt out, but then turned around and got a bunch more machines afterwards. So is it worth allowing yourself to be burnt out by promoting all these different machines? For me, no. Somebody else's lifestyle, maybe, but not for mine. So okay. Yeah, so we can't do that. Someone did come in and like my live, and I appreciate you. They didn't say hi, but they did come in and like it. I most certainly appreciate that they left, but I certainly appreciate that they like my live. Every little bit helps. I am still trying to grow my channel. Um, I know I used to put out a lot of informational videos, and YouTube says their algorithm knows when you have informational videos on how to send your videos out. But I guess even though people will be on my videos and in my DMs talking about they love how I teach, I just for some reason I just don't get the views. I mean, I used to have more people in my lives than I do now, but I'm just gonna keep on going. It's not about the numbers for me. Would like to have the views because I would like to also get to 1,000 subscribers. I would love that. But one thing I won't do is stress myself over it. That I won't do. It's not worth it. All right. Put you up here. I want to wait for that. This one I have to wait. That's one put you right there for now. Okay, so let's just keep going. It does not doesn't need no interface. I like to have this done in advance, as you know. However, as I stated, I started doing this on the other bag and it just flopped. That really flopped. So I had to start from scratch with a new pattern. Okay. Ooh, this is still hot. I want to put that over there. All right. You know what? I kind of wish I did two of these to make that a little bit more sturdier. I wonder if I was to cut a second piece. I don't know. Can you cut two pieces? This one will straighten you out. Not warm you up, but straighten you out. You're a little too wrinkled. Can you put two pieces of interfacing on top of each other? If I like the way this one actually stitches up, which now we're going to just stitch up online, maybe. I may not even stitch it up online. But if I like the way that this stitches up, I'm going to alter the pattern a second time, and I'm going to take the interface out the seams like you would for any heavy interfacing. Okay, let me see. I think I want a second piece to try to make this a little bit thicker. I prefer this to be a little bit thicker because this is the bottom of the bag. And I'm not able to get Decaville out here. The two companies that I know of that sells Decaville, I got really hot. I mean, cool. The two companies I know sell Decaville do not ship out here. So I'm using what is, some people say it's equivalent to Decaville Light, but when I felt Decaville Light, it felt a little bit heavier than SF. I think this is SF 101. I was going to buy it out of Joann's, but at the time when it was going out of business, I was like, oh no, that price is still too high. Consider you're going out of business. Like, that's why I didn't purchase it, because I felt like it was just still too high. So like they could have brought that price down. So I decided not to buy it. They had the Decaville Light, but not the Decaville Heavy. And I wanted the heavy at the time anyway. I wasn't looking for the light. So this was a whole bolt, and it was an extremely good price. Don't remember the price, but it was extremely good. So I grabbed this whole bolt. I was like, I'm going to, now this bolt I'll get. And they weren't even selling the Decaville in a bolt. You had to get pieces. You had to buy it by yard. And the yard, I think, was a minimum of 3 yards, but I wanted a whole bolt. That was another thing. I was only looking for bolts. So I brought 2 bolts, unopened bolts, one batting and one batting for quilting, and the other, this one, and I'll tell you in a minute. I think it's SF 101. Come on now. Oh, that didn't cut well. And these are my old fabric scissors that we used to cut. This didn't just cut this. Oh, wow. Wow. This is not even cutting through this. It didn't cut none of it. But it's cutting through my mat, and I don't like that. Because I'm having to press down. Come on. I'm having the hardest time cutting through this. Crazy. This is insane. That blade is done. Now I cut all the others with it. Oh boy. A little splinter. All right, let's try it. It's going to be in a seam, so it'll still be able to be sewn, but it looks like it's sticking. Yeah, I like this. I like this option. This makes me feel a little bit more comfortable for a thicker bottom. All right. Yes. All righty. All right. I like that. So let's trim this up. Now these pieces I throw away, as you know. I'm gonna tuck it in. This is, I know it's Calon. So this is Calon 931 TD. It is a fusible midweight. This is a fusible midweight. So the original price was $549 at the time. I want to say this was half price when I got it. So it would have been, since it's a 550, that would have been half price. I'm almost certain that this was half price when I had gotten it. And that's what made me get it, because I was like, okay, that's a good price. I'm going to go ahead and get that. So that's what made me just go ahead and buy that. But the Decoville Light, no, they didn't want to sell it in a bolt. Because I took a whole bolt over there, and the lady was like, we're not selling that in a bolt. And I was like, what? It's not open. And yeah, they weren't trying to sell it in a whole bolt. But they had a minimum. It was either 2 or 3 yards was a minimum that you had to get. But like I said, I didn't go there for cuts. I went there for bolts, specifically for bolts and yarn, which I did get. All right, we have that, and I'm using medium wash denim this time. Ooh, didn't mean to wrinkle up. Wrinkle it up. Now this is the fabric that I got from Amazon. I'm telling you, it is so nice, y'all. I need to add it to my description box so y'all can get it. When I tell you, it's really nice. I am really impressed with that fabric. Yeah, I'm really impressed. And so it's interesting because they tell me to cut one pocket. Oh, I know how they want to do it, because they tell me to do 2 welcome in. They tell me to do 2 interfacings and 2 linings. So I'm assuming that's going to go on I know what it's going to go on the interface. I mean, it's going to go on the lining. So let's not do this one. This is going to go on a lining. That's what I said. There's no instructions. So now I have to say, oh, sorry. I have to sit here and try to guess. But if I have 2 cut lining, it must be a inside, right sides to right sides to cut 2 lining. Yep, same thing. Cut 2 lining and 2 woven interface. So we must gonna turn the bag in through the pocket. main exterior. So did I cut 2 exteriors? See, I didn't see that. So that's my mistake. 2 exteriors, 2 interface. Okay. But it's telling me to be joined with the main exterior. Interesting says on page 5, and there's no instructions. It clearly tells you that the only instructions is a video. And when I went to go print it out, there's literally no instructions. So I don't know what they're talking about. All right. So I definitely made a boo-boo. And it's okay. I'm gonna sew that up in a minute too, so I can iron it. And that's on a fold. So let's see. Let's go here. Oh boy. And you don't need any hardware. Oh wait, I'm sorry. You don't need any hardware for this bag. Which is a good sew up. What I like to do is I like to bring my pieces all the way to the end. I don't like to waste no fabric. I see a lot of people cutting out fabrics and they waste a lot. But I like to keep trying until I get to the very, very end because I do not believe in wasting any fabric. I still have to get to this store. There's a store out here that is supposed to be selling a lot of Joann Fabrics material and yarn. And I still have to find it. A lot of people don't know where it is. Like when I tell them the area and where they said the store is, even people that have been here for years, locals, none of them know that area. So I'm a little confused. I have not been able to find this store yet. I'm going to go slow. I don't feel like doing that. That didn't even go way through. So I've decided I'm going to also invest in a more expensive rotary. This is a cheap rotary that came with this cutting board, cutting mat. The cutting mat is way better than the rotary blade. I may also at this time need to change it, but it may be time to change it. I've just decided I am going to keep this bag all denim. I'm not going to add the bandana to it like I was going to. I changed my mind. Well, I wasn't ever 100% sold on if I was, which is why I cut out the whole entire bag. In denim, I was just going to add the bandana pieces. But I just decided I'm not going to. I'm going to keep, because the hat is not for me. The hat is going to be on the website. Okay. There we go. And I'm also keeping a lot of scraps too because I'm going to do a denim backdrop. So if you see anybody with a denim backdrop, just know you heard it here first. I am about to create my own backdrop as a denim backdrop. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get the interface on. Let's move you over here and get your iron down. Get the wrinkles out. Plus, this does help with the interface, with it already being a little warm. You just don't want to, if you iron it first, you don't want to put the interface down, pick it up, put it down, pick it up, because you're going to then melt the glue dots. So you want to try to get it on and straight as quickly as possible. All right. So I'm assuming this is the actual bag that's going to be attached to this circle. All right. I do see people coming in and out. I do appreciate everyone who's coming in. For everybody who's now coming in, if you like this content, please like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know you're here. Turn on your notification bell so you'll know when I go live again. These wrinkles out. Yes, so you'll know when I'm going live again. When you can see the next upload. There'll be sometimes I'll be dropping videos instead of going live, especially for when there's issues like I had earlier today. And I'm not sure if they still have premieres, but I started to do a video and just do a premiere. Initially, I had scheduled my first live back as a premiere, but then I just decided to go live instead. That's what makes me a little nervous. Hope that wasn't hot. That was just sticking together. Ooh, it's so warm. And it's because of this iron. And I couldn't even get a good iron shift. I tried to get a really, really nice iron shift out here. I would have had to do it through Amazon. I had a really good iron, and it said that my country didn't qualify for me to ship that iron, so they couldn't ship it. So I had to go with a cheap iron from the grocery store out here instead. So I do not like this iron. I have, and it's interesting because I actually have a business iron already, as well as a heat press and a Cricut heat press in my pod. And then we have two personal irons. So now here is yet another iron. Go figure. Yet another iron. Like really? So I'll just when I decide to go back, or whatever, we'll use this as a backup. Let's cut this off. Because it's a little bit bigger for some reason. Let's trim this up. All right. I've chosen to go slow because I don't want to cut into my material accidentally. I don't want my hand to accidentally turn and cut into the material. There we go. All right. And does need to be trimmed a little bit. Only thing about denim, it does fray. I used to, when I would make my own denim jeans, there was a time I didn't make my own denim jeans. I used to cut them and then I would cut it with a seam allowance, additional seam allowance, and then I would use the pinking shears to go to the cut line, if that makes sense. So if there's a cut line, I would go about a quarter of an inch out from that cut line and then use my pinking shears to trim that to get the correct cut line. That way it would keep it from fraying, and I was sew my pinking shear cuts. That's what I used to do when I used to make jeans in the past. Um, Also, I used to make jean skirts and dresses because when I was singing, we wore a lot of denim, a lot of black and a lot of denim. And so I would make my own, denim skirts and dresses. And as women, we couldn't wear jeans. I remember they first allowed us to wear jeans. We were hyped. I think we were singing somewhere in like Virginia or somewhere. It was in the sticks in the woods. And they told us before we left, they was like, ladies, y'all can wear one night, y'all can wear jeans. Man, when I tell you just about all the women but myself and one other girl, matter of fact, I think it might have been two other girls besides myself, are the only ones that didn't wear jeans. It was so funny. All the other sopranos and altos had on jeans because in like at that time, 15 years, they had never allowed us women to wear jeans. Only the men could wear jeans when we wore denim. Denim was a very common, let me iron this some more, especially since I trended. Oh, got my shirt. Denim was one of our main uniforms that we sang in after the robes, after they got rid of the robes, when that no longer was a thing. But I still stayed in jean skirts with. At the time, I didn't really wear denim jeans at the time like that. I barely wore jeans. The only time I really wore jeans is when I went skating, but I didn't wear them to work or anywhere other than when I wear them in the summer. I mean, excuse me, the winter for skating, and even then I wore a lot of pants. Okay. All right. Here we go. What time is it? We are an hour and 13 minutes in. All right. So now it's the lining. Now, this is why I was really undecided on what I wanted to do because I was still undecided on what color lining I wanted to use. Now, I'm going to toss this over here. I shouldn't need this. So let me show you this. Okay. So for the and I've now decided I am going to do the hat on part 2. However, there are 2 hats that I do need to do. No, this is so uncomfortable. I'll tell you at another time why I didn't buy another chair. I'm thinking about going with the red, and I'm gonna tell you why. So these are the colors of the bandana, and oops, what happened? I had it all nice and neat so you could see it. I am going to. I'm actually going to buy a few more colors that I do like. However, this is the pack that I got. This is not how it went. It went this way. I did it like this so you could see all the colors. All right, so I know it's a little hard. These two didn't come in that pack. However, this is what came in the pack that I got. I did get this pack off of Amazon. Um, I want to say this pack, honestly, I believe this pack, sorry, that wasn't there either. The orange wasn't there either. I believe this pack, or six, yep, it was six, was only $10. So what I did, well, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 colors, right? However, I brought 2 packs. I did buy 2 packs to make sure I have enough. So these are the 6 colors that came in that pack. So I don't know if you remember the patchwork hat, bucket hat that I made. Look at this. I am going to make a patchwork bucket hat using these bandana colors. Now I thought about adding this orange, light orange. I thought about adding this pink, which I may not. I have not 100% decided because I've already had these. I had these back when I was making face masks because you want 100% cotton and bandanas. You should be buying when you buy them. They should be 100% cotton. If they're not 100% cotton, that's on you if you're okay with buying those. But I bought these because they were 100% cotton. Staple still on this when I bought these because I did not make any face masks that was not 100% cotton. I made sure all my fabric was 100% cotton. Now these I actually got out of Joann Fabrics. I did not, when I bought these back in 2020, I did not buy these off of Amazon. So I had brought several packs of these. This is just what's left because I did sell several bandana face masks at the time. So I thought about even adding some of these colors or all of the, I'm not sure. So this is what I have. I do have some that is already cut out. Let me show you. I think I might have put them back on my tote bucket. I have blue, I have a navy blue, and I also have a white. Those are already cut up. I don't know why, but I had already cut them out into the face mask shape, but it's still enough if I want to do a patchwork bandana or patchwork anything. It's big enough. So I'm not sure. I'm thinking about really just sticking with these 6. So initially, what I was going to do was I was going to make the bucket hat first, and then I was going to use some of this on the outside of the bucket hat and bucket bag, and then also use it as patchwork for the inside of the bucket bag. And then offer that as a set initially. That's what I was going to do. But then I decided, no, I'm going to do some traveling and I need to have a bag for myself. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep the bucket bag for myself and not use the bandana on it at all. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use these at all either. I don't know. These are neon. So when I purchased this pack, I purchased the neon pack. As you can see, I also purchased Gutermann neon thread. They got lost. Matter of fact, I got to file that claim 2 nights before midnight too. Because I only have 30 days and today's the last day. I don't know why I procrastinated. Or what I were trying to find it too. But those are the neon colors. And I have brought neon thread because initially I was going to put batting on the back of these. I was going to line them, interface them, and then put batting on them because they are still a little thin. Even they're 100% cotton that's thin. It's just based off how it was woven. And I was going to quilt these and turn this into a purse initially. When I initially bought the bandanas, those bandanas, I initially bought those to turn it into a purse. I didn't initially buy those to turn it into a bucket hat. I came up with the bucket hat idea later. I also purchased some gingham to add. Initially, I was going to add gingham in between the patches of this bucket hat, and I may still do that since I'm not going to do it today. But I'm not sure if I actually am. So I don't know. But we're definitely going to work on this. This will be prepped. I promise you, this will be prepped. Everything will be ready to go before we begin. I will be stitching this out with just white thread instead, since white is all through, of course, out bandana, which typically it is. So we will be working on this on part 2. So then I thought about it because I also have additional red. It's the same red, but it's a different print. These 3 here. And so I thought about using these 3 as the inside lining and to put on the outside. But I'm like, I don't know if anybody would be interested in a denim bucket bag with bandana on the outside. The lining is one thing, but on the outside is something completely different. But what I am going to do is make this just a full red bucket hat. So we're going to make this one tomorrow too. A full bucket hat. And I have plenty of red lining. So that's what we're going to end up using. I decided normally I would use um, I thought about just using my canvas, my white canvas, because that's what I brought it for. I brought waterproof canvas for the inside of a bag because ladies, we know and gentlemen that carry bags. I don't want to, exclude y'all. Um, but we know our inside of our bags get dirty. Some of us wear makeup, some of us don't. But I wanted something on the inside of my bags that can wipe out. So my vision was to make all of my bags white or the off-white ivory on the inside. I wanted that to be my brand. I wanted that to be my aesthetic. Um, so that's why I initially brought the eggshell or ivory waterproof canvas. So I'm still on the fence with that. I don't know. But it is an hour, almost in 30 minutes. So I don't even think I'm going to go any further with this video. Yeah, it's my fault. It's my fault, y'all. It's my fault. I wanted to do 2 hours. I don't know. What do you think? Should I start on the bucket hat? I can. While I make my decision whether I want to use the red or if I want to use the white. What we can do though, before we do that, I still need to do this and turn my iron off. Let me lock my rotary because I do not want to cut myself. How about we do this? Oh, before we go any further, I did make some key fobs the other day, and I'm going to take some of the scraps of the bucket hat as well as the bucket bag, and I'm going to keep matching key fobs to go with them for purchase as well. So if you're interested in any of the key fobs that I made the other day, you can just DM me on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, whichever one you have. You can DM me and order these as we're still working on the website. It's a little delayed because I told you there's a grand announcement that I'm going to give to you in another like 3 weeks. But you still can purchase the key fobs from me. So these are available. And like I said, whatever scraps I have, I am going to turn those also into key fobs in case you want a matching key fob for your bucket hat to put on your keys or for your bucket bag or any other bag that I have made. All right. So I just wanted to show you these again. So let's go ahead and bring the sewing machine over because we still have to sew those 3 pieces together. Certain spot for you? I think it is. All right. So let's go ahead and sew this up first. Oh, and you know what else I wanted to tell y'all? So, oftentimes when you get a sewing machine, and you can't see it right now, but here, and I need to do another in depth because I actually did a video before we went to Delaware. I did an unboxing as you've seen. However, I also did a um I did a video on how to thread it, how to wind the bobbin, um, how to use it, the testing, and I lost, I think it was like 4 videos. I don't know what happened. They're gone. And I did those last April, as a matter of fact, April of last year. So I guess I can do another one. But remember, this was supposed to be continuous. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and put right sides together, and we're just gonna improvise. Because like I said, the instructions wasn't clear. But if you happen to get this pattern, if it links up, sews up well, then I will go ahead and link it, and you can refer back to my video so you can see that um, this has to be one continuous. And I will, oh, sorry, y'all, hold on. I have to unplug my sewing machine for a second. And I moved it. My cord got stuck on my grommet. It's down there. Okay, and my light moved, but I am gonna bring this back. Okay. All right. Now, so I'm gonna just sew it. Oh, what I was saying is the on the plates you always have, it tells you your seam allowance. You have your mines have the one, I know, 1/4. I know it's 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 5/8, and an inch. Yep, those are all of mine. Yeah, those are all of mine. And then there's also a couple embroidery lines on here, so you can sew embroidery straight as well. Um, but I did test them out today, and I did find out that mine's was accurate. I know most people, what they like to do is they like to mark the real true lines on their sewing machine. It is still stuck. Oh, no. Can't get to my foot. It's stuck. I thought it was the cord, but I thought it was the cord in the way. So this setup is it's about to change. I promise you, it's about to change. I was about to say, yes. So, I checked mine. I don't have to put any markings on my sewing machine because Juki did a great job in putting those lines in the right place. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started and get these together. And I am gonna back stitch even on this. Came out a little tight, even though the tension is good. All right. So I'm going to keep the long piece in the middle, and I'm just going to put the 2 patch pieces on the end. So I just have to improvise, which is another reason why I said I'm going to keep this bag. So I know when I do the second one, I don't have that issue. Okay. All righty. So now we can go ahead and we can interface. All right, let's go ahead and interface. I'm going to press my seams open so that my seams can be flat. So I'm going to do that first. Let's go ahead and press these seams open so that when I put my interface on, it will be completely flat. I guess you can press to one side. If you want your seams to go to one side, you can do that as well. But I just want to press mine open. I like to press my seams open. versus pressing to one side. Okay, and I'm gonna get that invisible line, that heat erase line. All right, it fell again. That's weird. I'm not even hitting anything. Oh, oh, did I forget to cut that piece off? I did. I'm gonna fix that again one more time. Hopefully it stays. All right. But I'm gonna do it afterwards. This is more important right now. All right. So let's go ahead and get this interface down. No. Phone machine's here now. Do I want to continue? I don't know what I want to do. That smells so good though. Oh my God. I actually have on one of the oils that I made when I had Copper Hue Collection. Um, I was like, okay, it's time to finish up this oil. It did not oxidize, which means it didn't turn colors. It still is just as strong of a scent as it was when I made it 2 years ago. Um, and I am very well pleased with it. I have on perfume, but I smell that as well, and it just smells so good. I'm so impressed. One thing I was able to do well was make some products, and I definitely do miss it. All right, let me trim this up a little bit, just a little bit needs to be trimmed. And it's really because of the way I'm cutting this stuff on this table. Hopefully soon I will be able to have a separate cutting space. I just need a separate cutting space from my sewing space. So I don't want to have this issue. Typically I do have used to have that, but I'm in islands. You gotta make things work. I know Bella's laying me out. She sits at the door, y'all. I shut the door because of my husband being home. As y'all know, before he would sit underneath the sewing machine when he was at work. And I was out in the living room. But now that, he's been home on medical, that's why I reverted to the bedroom, which in any other circumstance, I would never bring anybody into my bedroom. When guests come over, I shut my bedroom door. Because to me, the bedroom's sacred. But it is what it is. That was either that or I would never be able to sew. Now, like I said, he started to say, he said, I'll go in the bedroom. But then I was like, no, because um, we don't do TV in the bedroom. So we don't do TV in the bedroom. So that would leave you in here with nothing to watch. So I didn't want to do that to him. All right. So that piece is done. That piece is done. And let's see, 134, 134 minutes. Guess what I think we're going to do? Where's my clip? Oh, did I accidentally? Oh, no, I didn't. I thought that I accidentally put my clips up. What I think we're going to do? We'll prep the bucket hat. We'll at least prep it, and that way, but we won't sew it up. Is that a plan? We'll prep it, and I thought, no, light went out again, y'all. I know I did. Okay. So let me pick it back up. We'll prep it. Oops. And we'll sew it up later. How about that? And y'all, they start losing some inches. I'm going to start jump roping. And my niece purchased for me because we don't have access to TikTok shop. And we do have a gym on the premises. So we do have a gym. It's a small one. It has a treadmill, one treadmill. I think it has 2 ellipticals, which is a shame we haven't really been taking advantage of. I did when we first got here, but then I quickly stopped. I don't know why, but I love going to the gym. That's the weird thing. Also, it has a few weights there. I think it may have another piece of equipment. I don't maybe a rower, which I love the row thing because that's a full body workout. However, I seen I could see ads on TikTok. I just can't purchase from TikTok out here in the islands. It says my country's not available. So I think where they had the ropes, I have the ropes at the higher end gyms. Well, now they got ropeless ropes. And so I was like, I want those. With the jump rope for my cardio and the ropeless, that's a full body workout as well because you have to squat, you have to hold in your core, and I used to use ropes back in the day, and I was like, I want that, so I ordered them, and so my niece ordered them for me, so she just shipped them to me today. I'm super excited. They're supposed to be here by Monday. I cannot wait, baby, baby, Lonnie, come here, please. Sorry, y'all, I want some water. All right. Let's go ahead and hurry and whip this up. Can you do me a favor? A little bit of lime, some ice and water, please. Yeah, you're gonna be in a little bit. He was looking to see if he was going to be in the camera. He was a little bit. All right. Anyway, let's do the interface. How about we do that? I'm not going to, well, let's see. Let's prep. Let's prep. So this is going to be a head circumference of 22 inches. So this is typically a small for men and a medium for women. All right. So let's just get this out the way. Let's just start there. We have a few more minutes to burn. All right. That's a fold, and that's a fold, so that's not going to be enough. And I usually shut the door because, he has TV and it'll come through in the background. And trust me, y'all, soon as that door opens, she comes running. So right now she's up on the bed. She's going to be mad when he takes her out. But I don't want her cooped up in the bedroom with me. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, so these 3 pieces, one thing I love about the bucket hat, it is pretty simple. It's 3 pieces. It's the crown, the crown, the crown, which is the middle part. Then it's the top of the hat, and then it's the brim. I never understood why the middle part is the crown because the crown, the top of your head is the crown, but that's how they label them. And then you have the brim, which is the visor portion. But it's very easy and simple to sew up. Thank you. Mm-hmm. I couldn't wait. I was like, I'm thirsty. And I have a fan, y'all, sitting right here. I don't have the air on. I don't like air, but you can see I'm sweating a little bit. I'm not sweat, but perspiring. All right. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's prep. How about we do that? I feel really good about this. Let's do this. We may even go further. I don't know. Let's see. It's Thursday Eve. Some people don't have to work tomorrow. Some people do. bring you down just a tad bit. Like I said, as you can see, I always put my stuff on a fold, but I bring it down as close to the bottom as I can. All right. I am going to trace this out because it is on a curve. Be careful because your bumps are going to keep you from having the glue dots, going to keep you from having perfect lines, but you just got to know how to do it without it. All right. So you're going to cut 2 of these on the fold. You're going to, I think each piece but the top, the crown and the brim gets 2 pieces cut. Yeah, I should do this. 2. 2 pieces because you're gonna do, it's always size seams on a bucket hat. Now I can imagine if you knew how to triple this up, which I do. I mean, quad this up. You can quad this up and cut just 1 piece and have a continuous if you want. But I do find it easier just to cut the 2 pieces. It is definitely easier to cut the 2 pieces. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. Come on. So I'm just going to cut this across just to get it out the way. Oops. Yeah, this blade is done. Because if you can't cut interfacing, you're definitely done. It's crazy. All righty. Yeah, that's really interesting. All right. So that actually hurt my wrist. So my wrist, so I do not have arthritis, but what happened was when I was it was either 35 or 36 years old, I was skating. And the interesting thing is I wasn't even skating. I was standing at that time. I was standing in the middle of the floor, just watching everybody skate. And how we stand, a skating ring is kind of like almost like an oval shape. It's not a complete circle. I mean, it's just, round, but it's not a circle, but it's an oval. Most skating rinks are oval. I've seen some that's kind of squared, but most are oval. And so you have people that stand in the middle floor. I know in copper color skating rinks at least. We stand in the middle floor. People dance in the middle floor. They do little tricks and stuff like that in the middle floor. And then you have people who stand around them. And we stand there and we just stand there and we'll just watch people skate. And so you can stand on what we consider on the ends, and you can stand on the sides, the long side, because even though it's an oval shape, you have the long side and you have the smaller round side. And I was standing on the oval, on the circle side, the smaller side, facing, being able to look out on the floor as well. And a guy came behind me with my back was turned. So he knew I was there because he was skating forward. And he had been warned years about his wild skating, and he had already injured a few people. Why he wasn't permanently banned, I have no idea. So I'm standing there just watching. It was towards the end of the night, which was interesting. But I had not been skating. I was just standing there watching everybody else, waiting for my song to come on, because it was the last skate of the night. It's called Advanced Backwards. And so, but it wasn't advanced backwards quite yet. It was still regular skate, which means you skate forward. And he came across and doing this crazy stuff. He also was told about he had to learn how to skate the way we all skated, because we cross with our our right leg, and he crosses with his left, which is completely opposite of the wet style in which the tri-state area, meaning Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, skates. He had been, and he's from Pennsylvania, so he was very familiar with the style of skating. And he clipped me, and when he clipped me, I went down because it happened so sudden, but I fell on my wrist and sprung, and not sprung, but broke. He broke my bone, the funny bone, which is the bone that's your thumb and your forefinger. And then he fractured my wrist in two places. Now, 90% of the time, you know, I'll be okay. It's just once in a blue moon. It doesn't hurt when it rains like arthritis patients or nothing like that. But once in a blue moon, it will flare up. And sometimes it's a day or two, sometimes it's just for a few hours. Well, this has been a couple of days now. It just randomly flared up the other day, day before yesterday, and it's been flaring up off and on since. Like it's crazy. They did tell me that I should not develop arthritis in it because I'm pretty healthy. I still don't have arthritis in it, but yeah, sometimes I could just be working and it just flare up. And like it just will randomly flare up. And today's one of those days, unfortunately. It just happened, well, not today, but it just happened just in that moment. Which is sad that I actually still go through this. So let's just cut you out and move you over. Oh, I gotta cut you too. All right. And let's just cut around you and get you move away. So let me just go ahead and put you up. All right, skip that part. All right. So this piece is gonna go in the trash. Hold you up, put you back. And what I'm going to do is, because I'm not going to just, maybe I should interface it twice. Oh, wow. What I should do. So also I thought about for the lining of the bucket hat, should I make it reversible and do a solid lining? I thought about going with the red on the inside of the bucket hat. However, I actually took out two other colors. So I also, let's do this. Let's move you on the side before we cut you. So I took out fuchsia to go, as you can see it. I took out fuchsia to go with the for lining. I thought about fuchsia. That's an option for the lining. And then I also thought about the green. The green is a little bit more off because it's neon, and this is not. So don't think I like it now that I'm seeing it in the light. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm liking it. Okay, I got that. So I did take out a green zipper as well as a fuchsia zipper. I think I'm going to do the lining in the fuchsia because the fuchsia would be the closest to the neon. How about that? So does that look good? Let's try that. Like that? I think that looks good. Yeah, I like that. Because even the light has my shirt looking crazy, but that green is off. All right, so let's go ahead and get this cut out. Yeah, we're gonna go with the fuchsia. Like I said, I did take out a fuchsia. Oh, I was also gonna do a pink lining, and I didn't like the pink, so I put the light pink on me, so I put that back. So we're gonna do a fuchsia. I think I am now gonna do. I may do some of the fuchsia for the bucket hat. I mean, for the bucket bag, because I did take out a fuchsia lining to go inside of the bucket hat if I was going to add the if I was going to add the bandana to it. I don't know. We'll see. This is one of them days that I'm still figuring out. And then, like I said, some days it's okay. I usually don't like to use the rotary all the time on the curves because it likes to gather, but that came out good. I'm not going to keep those. Oh, that trash bag is full now. All right. I'm going to put those two pieces together. All right. I'm liking this. Let's do this. All right. And I don't typically start with the interface, but who says we can't? It's all what's best for you. So, material cut police or interface cut police do not come from me. I know most people like to work on the strap and on their bags first. I don't always like to do that. I don't know who came up with these rules that you have to do certain things first. Well, certain things that you don't have to do, like they made it mandatory. I heard someone say they got chewed out for not doing their bag straps first, but we don't have to do that. If that's not what you want to do first. Is trying to buckle up. Okay. So what I'm actually going to do, oh, this one somewhere, where the put the bag with? Because I thought I wasn't going to do anything else. So I brought these little alligator clips, or pin curl clips, but these are usually used not so much for pin curls, even though that's what they are, but most sewists use them to pin their pieces to their pattern so that they can know what it is and always have it together. So I purchased mine. I tried to find copper. Um, I couldn't find copper. I know there's small business sewists on here to sell them, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like the prices of those, so I just went with black. And they may be very well good, but in this economy, I went with what Kim's Pockets wanted to go with. I do have some copper ones that I did order, but not the alligator clips. I bought some more regular clips that clip my bags. They're copper color, copper bronze color actually, and those that was in the order that got sent back. And so I just decided not to reorder them. I may order them again another day. So I definitely don't have enough clips. So I do need to order some more clips. Ouch. Welcome in. Welcome, and I'm just on here, just cutting out some pieces, bucket hat pieces. There is going to be a part 2 to this live. I'm just going to go a little while longer. Okay. All right. So what we can do now. All right. So what I did for my other patchwork, what I did was, let me do the lining. I'm going to do the lining first, and I'll show you what I did with the patchwork. So I am going to go ahead and go with the pink. I decided I'm going to use the pink. And I may do a double lining, a double interface. This is 100% cotton as well, but it is also thin. So I made to give it a little bit more sturdiness. Yeah, maybe we may do that. We may cut out some more interface just to give it a little bit more thickness. All right, let's see. All right, we got to cut these pieces on a fold again. So let's go ahead and get the crown. Waist not, want not. Let's bring you down. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not even in camera. I do apologize. As you know, I do apologize. You should have told me. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this traced out. That's enough that we're not wasting. Where's my pen now? And don't forget, you have to cut out 2 pieces of lining as well. Okay. This fabric is trying to bulk up. And as you can see, I really don't use pins like that. I use clips, so. Okay. All right. All right. Hold on, Will. All right. All right. And I didn't go live on Facebook today. I was about to break down and go live on TikTok, but didn't change my mind. I just couldn't do it. So I just changed my mind really quickly. So let me get this cut up first. Let's cut away. those are two different sizes. But yeah, I was about to, but then I was like, nah, change my mind that quick. Oh, that's not my thing. That I had those on there. All right, so let's bring you down. Welcome in. Get that out. So I can be straight. Okay. All right. That's a little too much. All right, that's actually perfect. And interesting, it's carnival going on right now, and we have completely forgotten. It started Sunday. I have been out here for 2 years. I've missed two. And here I am, I think about to miss this one. And I'm home this time because I completely forgot. Completely forgot. I just literally remembered. And I said I was not going to miss this year. Yeah, normally I'm in the States, but right here I still forgot. Yeah, how can you do that? Guess it wasn't meant to be. I mean, I'm an Indian, but it's not my culture anyway. But I wanted to experience. I'm like, hey, I'm on the island, so why not experience it? However, I forgot. I don't even think my husband remembered. He actually um, went to two because he wasn't in the States with me when I, no, I'm sorry. He went to the first one. This one we missed because we was in the state taking care of him, his health at the time. But he went to the first one. I was home 'cause I was with my family. Okay. Now I wish I had my pins, but it's okay. Let's try. But yeah, I mean, we can go over to St. John's. I think there's this next or St. Croix, but I wasn't interested. He said that same thing, but I just wasn't really interested in going to any of the other ones. I just wanted to experience the one here in St. Thomas, and that's it. It's Apple way of cutting. All right. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. All right. So we have that cut out. We have the interfacing and the lining. And we will start, maybe we'll start the piece patching together. I don't know yet. Okay. All right. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with this decision. I'm going with the pink. All right. Yep. Okay. Yep. I'm happy with this. Yeah, I like this. All right. So we got that. All right. And let's do, you really got to do one for the brim. Let's put an iron to this for a little bit to get some of these wrinkles out so it can lay flat. I should have had them bring me some water for the iron. All right. So let's bring it down. Yeah, my wrist is actually starting to hurt. And like I said, it's interesting because I didn't do anything to it. I did tell my husband that I would put the brace on the other day, and I didn't need to. I made my own Tiger Balm, and I just put some of that on it instead, and I was okay. But I'm starting to feel it. Now they did tell me I would have pain probably off and on for the rest of my life, but I don't have to worry about no signs of um, arthritis. I did have to sue him for my hospital bills and some pain and suffering because he didn't want to pay for it. Although you're the one that caused the accident, you're the one that caused me to have wrist pain the rest of my life based off of your actions, not something that I did. Now, was it an accident? It definitely was. I don't think you did it on purpose, but you still have to pay. Well, the unfortunate thing, and he was an older guy at the time too. He wasn't like he was a young buck. He was an older gentleman. At that time, if I was about 35, 36, he probably was about 45, 46, or maybe even 50. He definitely was an older gentleman. He was an OG that we looked up to, even though he was wild. We considered him to be an OG. But like I told him, you still have to pay for these bills because you caused me to fracture my wrist, or you fractured my wrist. I didn't do it. You knocked me down. I was minding my business. My back was turned. I didn't even see you coming. I shouldn't have had to wash my back. And all the years at that time, 35, 36 years, or 30 years, I should say, at that time that I've been skating, I've never had to, no one ever had to watch their back in that case. So it was a little disappointing, but they did eventually ban him permanently. So he is still banned permanently if he is still even living. He's banned permanently because of that incident. Oh, I put it over here. All right. So what I'm not going to do it. However, what I would do now is what I'm going to do, and like I said, I'm going to do these off camera. I'm not going to do these today. We're going to sew it up in part 2. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these in different kind of shapes and squares. Most likely they'll all be in squares like the other one, but just different squares. Some of them may look like a odd L, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to go ahead and get these cut out. And I'm just going to go ahead and go live tomorrow. I'm not going to wait until Monday to do it. I'm going to do part 2 tomorrow, same time at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go ahead and get these shapes cut out. And I'm going to do like I did before. I don't know if you remember on the other patchwork bucket hat. After I had lined the lining, I cut out all the shapes and then I arranged all of the patches onto the actual lining itself, not the outside, not the exterior of the hat, but the lining. I did that by gluing them first, and then I zigzag stitched them. I am not going to zigzag stitch this time. I'm just going to stitch. It's all going to be all straight stitch. I'm just going to straight stitch all of it. I'm not going to worry about zigzagging. I zigzagged that particular hat because it was denim, and I just felt like that was a better look. And so, yes, we're going to zigzag stitch these hats. I mean, I'm not going to zigzag stitch. Just these, they will just simply be straight stitches. But I certainly appreciate every last one of you who have popped in and supported the live tonight. I always appreciate anyone who comes and hangs out with me. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here. My battery is dropping. My phone is still getting hot. It's starting to flash again. That's one of the reasons why I decided. Remember, I said it was flashing before. It's flashing again. That's why I decided to end it here. I'm not sure why all of a sudden now my phone is getting hot. It's not even in the case. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get end it here. I don't like how hot it is. That makes me a little nervous. But I'm gonna end it here, and we're going to go ahead and pick up tomorrow again. Like I said, same time tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will see you then. Thank you so much. Good night.